Hey everyone, thanks for joining Learn to Play Games. My name is Lance, and today I'm looking at a brand new game coming to Kickstarter called Automated Alice. This is the newest game from Epic Scale Games. It is a 1 to 4 player game that takes roughly 20 to 40 minutes to play, and is a fully cooperative game where all the players are working together against the game itself. So in the game itself, Alice has chased her great aunt's parrot into the grandfather clock and finds herself in Wonderland for a third time. Unfortunately, Wonderland is not doing well at the moment as there's been a series of murders, and Miss Minus and her civil serpents are investigating this series of murders, of which Alice and her companions are the prime suspects. So in the game, the players are going to be moving around the different case files, collecting clues to prove that Alice and her companions are innocent. They're going to do this by each player taking a turn, and during each player's turn, they're going to gather up 4 dice that they'll randomly draw from the bag. They're going to roll them up to 3 times, trying to place them on the different case files. If a case file has all of the different requirements met and there are no civil serpent dice on it, the players can clear that card, gaining its ability if it has one for a one-use ability, and then all the dice are going to go back in the bag. This is going to continue for up to 12 rounds, again depending upon the number of players, until the players are either able to solve the case by clearing all the different case files of all the clues, or they're going to lose in one of 3 different ways. If a player ever has to draw a die from the bag and it is empty, that is a lost condition. If at the end of the 12th round they have not cleared all the case files, then they have also lost. And the final way is if you have 6 civil serpents on the bottom of the grandfather clock. That is the final way that you will lose the game. Now, there are a couple things I want to point out with this. First off, all the materials you see here are prototype materials and are subject to change and will look a lot better in the production copy. On top of that, the designers also informed me that each one of the case files is going to be die cut, which means that you will not have any of these white borders around it, as well as all of the spaces next to the cases are also going to be cut out, so you'll be able to place dice right into those spaces, and they're going to be made out of really nice cardboard. This is also true for the grandfather clock. It will be die cut out, so you won't have any of these white borders around it, and these spaces will also be cut out at the bottom so that you can place the civil serpent dice in there as you collect them, and hopefully not too many of them. I also will have a playthrough video if you guys want to check that out. I'll have a link up in the top corner. And in this video, I'll be going through and showing you the main features of the game, and also play through one sample round to show you how the game plays. So some highlights for me: I really enjoy dice chuckers and cooperative games, and this one checks both of those boxes, so I've been really interested to check it out for a while. I also found in playtesting that a number of my games went to the final round and even the final couple rolls to decide whether I've won or lost the game. There's also a good amount of strategy, as each one of the case files, if it does not have any active cases on it, or any active clue cards on it, you cannot go there for the rest of the game and trigger its ability. So completing case files or all the clues on a case file too quickly will eliminate that file and not let you use its ability, which can be critical to your victory or potentially your defeat. And then choosing when to use your clue cards to trigger their ability is also an important part of the game, as you definitely want to make sure that you have them when you need them towards the end of the game and not spending them too quickly. So as always, if you find these videos helpful, if you like what I do, please consider that like button, subscribe to my channel. It's one of the easiest ways you can support channels like mine, so we can continue to grow and produce these videos. And if you want to stay up to date on all my videos, also consider hitting that bell so you get notifications anytime I release new content. So let's head to the table and we'll see what this one's all about. There are 5 different components included in the game. The first are the dice, and these are 6-sided dice, and there's going to be 50 of them included, 10 of each one of the colors. The first one are green, and these are your civil serpent dice, and these are bad. These are going to lock down locations throughout the game as they come out, and they'll also be placed on the clock, as I'll show you later, and if 6 of them get on there, that is the end of the game. Then you have your 3 main colors, yellow, red, and blue, and these will be used to solve the different cases, placing them on those locations, and hopefully completing those cases before the time runs out. Finally, you have the purple dice, and these are wilds and will count as any color that you need, and then the number will be used, again, based on the case you're playing. Moving over from there, then you have the case cards, and these are where you're going to be placing the dice next to complete those cases and unlock the card. Some of the cards are going to give you a special ability once unlocked that you can use one time to modify or do different things, and there's a number of these included in the game, including swapping out a die color, defeating a civil serpent, copying any ability, changing a die to odd, and a number of other features. Some of the cases do not give you a special ability, and so when solved, they're simply discarded. Each one of them, again, is going to have different requirements. Some of them will have you place a number of dice that the total of all of the dice that are placed there must equal or exceed that number in order to complete it. Others will require only even numbers or odd numbers, and then others will require specific numbers or greater than or equal to those values on there. Another feature are the Miss Minus figure and the Alice. So Miss Minus is going to be moving around the case files, as you're going to see later in the video, and she is going to be investigating those particular people there and not allowing Alice to move on to that location or work with any of the cases that are there. She'll be moved at the beginning of each round, and then each player that's playing will be controlling Alice during their turn, moving her around the board and trying to solve the different cases at the different case files. Next is the clock, and this has three parts. The first is the clock face that's going to keep track of the current round. Next is the hold, and this is the place that you're going to place locked dice if at the end of a player's turn they have not used all their dice. Those will be placed in here, and these are going to remain locked. The only way you can remove a die from here is by spending a round. So you have to actually move around the timer one space forward, and then you can choose one of the dice out of the holds and bring it back to your hands. The final location is the Civil Serpent tracker, and as the players are unable to place Civil Serpent dice, they're going to be placed in this bottom track, and if there's all 6 spaces filled up, the players have lost the game. And the final thing are the case files, and there will be 6 of these included in the game. Each one of these is going to feature a different character, and each character is going to have its own special ability. At the beginning of the game, you're going to place out a number of cases based on the number of players. Each one of these cases is going to have requirements that the players will place dice next to complete those requirements and remove those cases from the files. Throughout the game, Alice will be moving from one file to another, rolling the dice and trying to complete those cases. Miss Minus is also going to be placed on one file, and for each round, that file cannot be visited or any of the cases solved on that file. So let's say, for example, during this player's turn, that player rolled this result. So that player can place any of these dice on any of the active cases on this file. So we have a 5, so we can place it there as that needs a 5 or better. We have a 3, so we can place that here. And we have a 3 here as well, so I'll go ahead and place that. I'm going to go ahead and place it on the odds. Or I could place it down here, and then I do have a wild that I can use as any color as long as the number is correct, and so I can place that down here, completing that file. So once a file is complete, I'll take that and add it to my area if it has an ability. Otherwise, it'll simply be discarded. All the dice that you used for that file will be added back into the bag and can be redrawn in later turns. So the last thing I want to show you is an example turn. I went ahead and set up a 4-player game already and played a couple turns. As in a 4-player game, you start at 6 o'clock and you only have 6 rounds to complete the game. So I've played through a couple rounds and we're ready to move into the next round. So at this point, at the beginning of each round, you're going to roll the Miss Minus die and move her to that location. So it is a 3, so she'll move to location 3. Which again will be labeled at the bottom of the location or the case cards. And then at that point, then Alice cannot move to that location or interact with any of the dice on that spot. From there, it'll move into the first player's turn, so that player is going to choose a case file that that player wants to start at. So I'm going to go ahead and choose to start down here, and I'll be able to activate that ability on that one when drawing. So I get to draw 5 dice this time instead of 4, as normally anytime a player draws, they'll draw 4. So I'm going to draw 5. And you don't have to use the ability as well, so I could have chose not to use that. And I'll give these a roll. Okay, so now I can choose to allocate these to spaces that I can use. So I'm going to go ahead and place that one down there. And that's pretty much, oh, I can place that one there. As the purple are going to count as wild, so you can use those for any color. They still have to match the number. And the other thing you'll notice is the green serpent dice, so silver serpent dice. So if I had a die that matched the number and the color of the card, I could choose to eliminate that, adding it back to my bag. I don't, so at this point, now I can choose to move to another location, or I can take another shot at that location, re-rolling my dice. And I can do this up to 3 times. So from here, I think I'm going to try going over here and seeing if I get any lucky rolls. All right, so I got a 4, 4, and a 1. Not the best. But I am going to place that there, and I think I'll add 1 to it. Then I have 1 roll remaining, so I'm going to move up to this location here and give my dice a roll, and a 4 and a 5. So I am going to place the 5 there, and the 4 I cannot use as I did not roll an odd, and it is not 5 or greater. I could try to use one of my cards if that was going to help me, but right now the 2 cards I have are not going to make a difference. So I'm going to activate the ability and pass that die to the next player. So then it would move into player 2's turn. So I'm going to show you one more example. So at the beginning of player 2 turns, that player can choose to start at that current location that they're at, or move to another one before pulling dice from the bag. So I think I am going to go here, and then I get to draw dice from the bag, and I'll get to add that to my hand as well. So 4 dice, and not bad. So let's give these a roll, and not too good. Let's see here. There's the 1, at least, and I can flip over 1 die. But at this point, that's not going to, well, let me do that. I'm going to flip over my wild die to the 3, and then I'll place that here, eliminating that and adding it back to the bag. From there, then I'm going to go ahead and roll again at this location. Now, since I stayed at this location, I will not be able to activate that ability again since I've already used it once. So I have 3 5s, so I can place that one there. And the other ones aren't going to help me. So that was my second roll. I have 1 more. I will move down here. I'm not going to activate her ability, but I am going to give the dice a roll and see what I get. A 4 and a 5. So I will place the 5 over here, and the 4 I'm going to place down here. So now that I've placed all of the required dice and their numbers, I get to eliminate that card, and it doesn't give me any ability, so I'll just put it over there, and the dice get added back to the bag. And this is going to continue going player after player. At the beginning of each round, again, the Miss Minus is going to be rolled, and she is going to move. If the players are able to complete all of the cases on all the cards before the clock gets back to 12, the players have won. Otherwise, if the players cannot complete all the cases, or if all 6 locations fill up with the Silver Serpent green dice, or if they cannot draw any additional dice from the bag, the game is over and the players have lost. So again, I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions or comments, leave those in the comments section below and I'll do my best to answer them, or swing by the Kickstarter's main page and drop any questions you have there as well. I'm sure the creator would love to hear from you and is more than happy to answer any questions you have. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.